Good afternoon. I'm Bill Anderson. You're listening to Expat Radio, and I'm coming live from the Costa del Sol with my guest today, David Kay. David, welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
Now, David, do I have to take my hat off because you are a president?
No, we don't stand on formalities.
Okay, so no doffing of caps
No,
today
no, no,
then.
no.
Okay, and
Just throw money.
just throw. Well, when we find out what you're president of, that's actually not too far from the truth, is it?
No.
No, because David, you are president of the local Lions Club, which is part of Lions International here in La Cala de Mijas. Yeah.
Yes, that's right, Bill. For a year, I'm president until the end of June this year, and then we changed to a new president in July.
Okay, we're going to come back to all this in just a moment, David. But I think it's nice to know, for people to know who they're listening to. I could probably try and work out where this accent is from, but where are your roots, David?
South Yorkshire originally. Most people can tell that with the accent, I'm afraid. Yeah,
Yeah,
it never leaves me. You take the man out of Yorkshire, but you can't take Yorkshire out of the man, as they say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So South Yorkshire, born and bred, and then when I got in my 20s, I moved to West Yorkshire for a while, and then I moved over to sort of the Lancashire area and around the northwest, and worked in that area for quite a while, and then ended up in Nottingham for about 10 years before coming over to Spain.
Oh, right, okay. So you went like me. I mean, I'm from Edinburgh originally, and I ended up in the West Coast, and there's always been this sort of rub between the East and West, Glasgow and Edinburgh. Is it the same kind of rub between Lancashire and Yorkshire, or
It is, but
it's
it's friendly rivalry,
it's
shall we
fun,
say?
yeah.
Yeah,
Except when it comes to football teams.
Well, yeah, I don't follow football, so that didn't
Yeah,
bother me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I did think it was a Yorkshire accent because I have a lot of relatives who were from the Barnsley area.
Ah, yeah, not far
Um,
from me.
so yeah, but I'm always a bit wary, saying, "Are you from Yorkshire?" in case you're from Lancashire or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. If I
Yeah.
mishear it. So, what kind of work did you do in the UK, David?
I've varied. I started off in the steelworks in South Yorkshire when I left school, and I was in that for about 12 years. And then I owned a fish and chip shop for 5 years in West Yorkshire. And then when I sold that, I went into bingo management.
Right,
I
okay.
did 13 years in bingo management. Then I did a little bit of pub management. Uh, Ended up in double glazing sales for again about another 12 or 13 years, and then finally left that and went into car sales and did about 10 years in car
Wait a
sales.
minute, I'm adding all these things
Yeah,
up, and you must be about
yeah,
95
yeah.
now. So,
I
the,
started young.
yeah, so the day did come when you retired, and you and your wife made a decision to, I guess, sell up and move to Spain, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Well, I wanted to retire early. I'd got a bit fed up with the dark mornings in the UK,
Oh,
and,
God, yeah.
and my job had started to get me down a little bit. Never had before, but it did. So I said I'd like to either retire or semi-retire, and we thought if we sold the house and downsized, um, the wife was happy where she was, but then saw a program about living abroad. It was Portugal actually, and said she wouldn't mind going there. And that's where we were thinking of. And then her daughter suggested Spain, and the wife did some research and found La Caledonias and liked the sound of it, and so we came over and never looked back.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. I mean, my background and story is different, but once I discovered La Cala, um, it was like nothing else quite fitted the bill.
Yeah, yeah,
Was it
yeah.
kind of the same for you guys?
Yeah, she'd seen a program, and it was, I think it was Mias Pueblo, and so she researched the area around
Right.
there, and we didn't really want a high rise sort of place, a bit like Fuengirola. We wanted more two-story type buildings, and that
Sure.
and La Cala seemed to fit the bill. We came over for a month, and loved it. went home for 3 months, sold up, came back, and we've never been back since. Well, apart from visits.
From visits,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So what was it about La Cala that kind of gripped you, David?
It's the village feel. It's not massive. You can walk from one end to the other in 10-15 minutes, and from
Sure.
the market to the beach in 5 minutes. So it's easily accessible. Everything's there in the middle. There's loads of restaurants and bars. It's a fantastic atmosphere. You meet loads of people. You bump into people time and time again. Come and say, have a coffee, have a beer, have a chat, and it's just a lovely atmosphere. Everybody's so friendly.
Yeah, I mean, for anybody listening from a lot of people listening from other parts of the world, La Cala, I don't know, in the 1960s was just like sort of four houses on the beach, a couple of
Mm,
donkeys,
mm.
and on a busy day, there might have been a horse and cart. And and what is now the sort of main street in the Cala used to be the main road going from Malaga
Mm,
down down the coast towards Marbella,
mhm.
and you know the motorway was built kind of just around La Cala, so La Cala itself can't get any bigger.
Well,
Yeah, the surrounds, that's another story. A lot of building going
yeah,
on down here, but the actual old, well, the village of La Cala is kind of
mm,
confined by the motorway,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and as you say, you can walk from end to end in it. And the other thing that I think struck us is the real sort of, I don't know, international feel
Yes.
of La Cala. You've got, you know, old Spanish families here that had these four houses and the two donkeys.
Yeah,
These families are still around
yeah, yeah.
and you know, still live in the village. So there's a real kind of Spanish root to it, isn't there?
Indeed, yeah. There is, and then you've got people from all over the world. You've got the Swedes here, and the people from that part of the world. You've got
Yeah.
the Irish, you've got the Germans, you've got the English. People from all over come to La Cala, and it is a sort of a mixing pot. But everybody seems to get on. It's a lovely atmosphere. I really should be saying it's horrible, so nobody else comes because we want to keep it a secret, really. But yeah, it's a lovely place to
Actually,
live.
being able to afford to come to this area now is getting to be the problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because property price, like has become very popular,
yeah.
and property prices are just going up and up and up and up.
This is true. Yeah, yeah. I suppose we got in probably 5.5, 6 years ago. So we got in before it really started to go up as much as it is doing now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
David just sent me a message, and we're talking about East and West, you know, and he said, just remember, he's a Manc.
Somebody has to be.
Somebody. We can edit that bit out later, David. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you came down here to retire, and you decided this is where you want to live. First of all, any kind of regrets in choosing this area?
None whatsoever. We've been very happy here. We've made lots of friends. As I say, I've joined the Lions, and we've got a fantastic social life. We love where we live, and I wouldn't change it for the world. No.
Yeah,
No.
and how did you get involved or decide to get involved with the Lions Club?
What it was, being over here and being retired, for several months I did basically nothing, just walked around and had a lovely time drinking beer and having lunches out and evening meals out. And then I got to a stage where I thought I'd like to do something. I'd like to just do something 1 or 2 days a week or something. Um, and the charity shop, the Lions Charity Shop, had a notice in the window saying they were looking for volunteers.
Right.
So the first thing I did was to volunteer in the shop and worked in the shop one
Right.
day a week. It was on a Saturday at that time, and that was my introduction. I'd never heard of the Lions before that.
Right.
And then the day manager on a Saturday, Rosemary Braybrook, after a while said, "Have you thought about being a Lion, joining the Lions?" I said no, and she told me all about it and invited me along to a meeting. And that was the start, really. I went along to about 5 or 6 meetings, and then I was voted on to become a member, accepted, and that was
Right.
it.
Right.
Joined from there, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what you're describing in your first few months over here, I think a lot of people could identify with, especially when people come over here to retire. um, it's like you come to a point where you say, I need to stop being a tourist.
Yeah,
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 because the first few months it happened to me and my late wife when we came over. At first, it's like, oh, where should we go to eat tonight, and where should we go? And after a few months of this, you think, wait a minute, we're not on holiday.
that's right.
This is where we live, and you have to make kind of a conscious decision, don't you, to
Mm,
say, okay, let's start living here rather than being a tourist
that's
here.
it, and be part of the community in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for people who don't know, Mijas is a huge municipality,
Yeah.
150 square kilometers, and we have about 90,000 people living here, and almost 30,000 of those are foreigners. We've got over 120 nationalities
Mm,
living here. So what you're saying, David, about this real mixture is incredible.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
you're kind of coming into a real melting pot of
yeah,
nationalities, and
yeah,
but I have to say this. Your first sort of move into the community was volunteering at the charity shop. Um, I've been here 20 years, and there were never charity shops around.
no, no,
And the Brits in this case have introduced the idea of the charity shops,
that's right.
and now there are various with aged care and Godeka, which is a cancer charity. There are a number of them now have shops,
Yeah,
but
that's
it
right.
was fundamentally the Brits, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Lions that actually brought this concept.
Yeah, I think we were one of the first ones. I mean, our shop started in when was it? 2004.
Right,
On Calle Torremolinos in La Cala, a gentleman called Ron Freeman, who was the president of Lanes at the time, opened the shop. Rosalind Rowley was the first shop manager. Today, she's still in the Lanes and she's our welfare officer. But that was the first one, and the Spanish people didn't understand the concept of charity shops,
no,
and it took quite a while. But now they do, and they're coming, they're regular customers, and they love it because they get fantastic bargains. But at first, it was a struggle to get them to understand how a charity
yeah.
shop worked.
Yeah, it's a the whole kind of second hand idea has never really or had never really caught on down in this area.
Mm.
Um, and I think probably half the jackets I own I've bought from the charity shop because you get some fantastic buys.
Mm. Yeah, which probably 30 to 40% of my clothes are probably from there too.
From there as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
yeah. So, David, we're going to talk a little bit about the work that the La Cala Lions do,
hmm
but can you tell us a bit about the Lions Club International, because it is
yeah,
an international association, isn't it?
yeah. Sure, yeah. Well, it was founded by a gentleman in America, a chap called Melvin Jones, in 1917. It started off as a business club, and then he decided he liked to start a service organisation to help people, where people could work together. It's now the largest service organisation in the world. We have 1.4 million people as members, over 46,000 clubs in 210 countries.
Right,
So the biggest I say, service organisation in the world. We did a site first project in 1990, and more than 300 million euros have been used to target major causes of blindness:
right,
cataracts, trachoma, river blindness, child blindness, diabetic retinopathy, and glaucoma. Um, this is done through Lions Club International. We have an international arm who all the clubs send money to, and they use that for international projects. We've given money to the La Palma disaster, to Haiti, to the Ukrainian refugees, all through LCIF, which
right,
is the international program. We have a Leo program, which was started in 1957, which was for the personal development of young people through volunteering.
right.
So there's many arms to the Lions Club International, where we try to help people throughout the world, be it through major things like blindness or guide dogs for the blind or whatever, or through international disasters.
Right. So the Lions International, under that umbrella, 210 countries. So the chances are, wherever you're listening to wherever you're listening from today, the chances are there's a branch of the Lions Club
Nearby.
somewhere in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, quite nearby, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. So from 5 years ago, and then all of a sudden you're president. I mean, that is a monumental climb, isn't
Well,
it?
he sort of snuck up on me when I wasn't looking. I joined, as I say, probably 3.5, going on 4 years ago now, maybe 3.5 years ago, and I was just a member to start off with, learning about Lions and what they did, and we have 10 officers within the club, and finding out what they did and what charities and organisations we helped. And then I became an officer, which we have an officer called Tail Twister. Basically, it's a person that promotes harmony within the club. We do have a bit of fun. We do fine members if they disrupt meetings or they come without a
Really?
badge or something like that. So that's a Tail Twister job. So that was my job for a while.
Is,
Um, and
is,
then
is that like a government whip or something? Is it?
yeah, just keeps a bit of order and raises a few euros for club funds.
Yeah, well, I suppose it might get more than a swear box, or something like
Yeah. We don't swear. Well, we don't swear. And then I became social secretary, which is the officer that puts on the events that we have throughout the year to raise money. We have quite a few events, and organises those, organises the entertainment, the food or drink or whatever, and the venue. It's quite a lot of work. I did that for a year. Sandy Tavendale did it for 3 years before me, and she's doing it again
Yeah.
now, and does a fabulous job. And then from that, I became vice president. You're elected as vice president, put yourself forward, and if you're elected as vice president, you do a year, and then after that, you automatically then become president for a
Right.
year. So
Okay.
that's basically how it happened.
Yeah. So I think that's quite important to say that it's a job that you take on for a year.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you've a year as vice president and a year as president.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But as president itself, a year.
So as president, you obviously wield a big hammer and just tell people what to do.
Oh, of
And
course I do, Bill. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm a tyrant. No, I view the job as president really as you're basically a conduit for people that want help from the Lions, that be it a charity, an organisation, or an individual, that feed through you to say, can you help with this? And then you take that to your meeting, and it's a democratic vote. All the Lions members decide. I don't decide. I just put it to them, and give them the information that I have. They vote whether we help that charity or organisation, and then I then feed that back to that organisation and
Right.
say yes, we will help with this or that. And basically that's what I am. I'm a conduit. I'm not. Yes, I'm in charge in the sense of I run the meetings, I organise the meetings and run them each fortnight, but I'm not in charge as it's not my decision,
Right.
if that
Okay.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
So it really is for a lot of people the role of president is a kind of point of contact
Yeah,
for people to make with the Lions Club.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I guess, with everything that's been happening in the last couple of years, where, a lot of people have been having hard times,
Indeed.
I guess this has made your life pretty busy.
It has, but again, you see, because of lockdown, we were under the same restrictions as everyone else. We had to lock down. We had to close our charity shops for a while, so that was less income coming in. Because
Of course, yeah.
about I would say 80% of our income comes from our charity shops. So of course that meant a massive drop in the income we had coming in that we could use to help other people. We
Right.
still managed to do that. We
Yeah.
still managed to help people, but obviously to a lesser amount.
Yeah. So, is it, do you always give help to sort of organize groups, or sometimes would it be to an individual family, or?
Both, yeah, both. We give to people like Quedeca, who are the cancer charity, and Adentry and Ademi and Encina Lara and Sir Optimus and things like that. They're organisations that ask for help occasionally. Some we do on a regular basis, and then there'll be individuals that we ask for help. We've got 3 or 4 children that we're helping at the moment that are. The families are struggling to help them. They've got either physical or mental problems,
Sure,
and we're
yeah.
helping them. We don't give money to the families. We will pay for an organisation that can treat them or that can
So maybe
help
for
them.
physiotherapy, for
That
example,
type of thing.
or
Yes.
if I don't know, I guess if they have travel costs to,
Yes.
I know some of these families are having to go to Barcelona
Yes.
for specialists and
There's
things like that.
yeah. That's the sort of thing we do, and we pay the organisations that are giving them the treatment or the help. We don't, or we'll pay for the travel costs to the people. We
Yeah.
don't give money to
No, you can't.
individuals.
It's not just for handouts.
No.
No, no. And you would be expecting to see a particular kind of problem within the family, not just that they're going through hard times and not just that they've lost their job, but as you say, maybe, they have a disabled child.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I mean, we do. Don't get me wrong. If they are really struggling, and there are people like Caritas and Adentry that will look after homeless people or people
Right.
that are struggling,
Yeah, yeah.
people that have lost their job, and we'll support through those organisations.
Right.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And on certain circumstances, if they can't afford food, we're not going to turn them away. We'd take them to a supermarket and buy food. We can't do it for everyone, but on the odd occasion,
Yeah.
we have been known to do that. But we go to the supermarket, buy the food, make sure they're not buying cigarettes and booze and that, but food for the family,
Sure.
and then we'll pay the bill to the supermarket. But again, it's not a free for all for everybody to come and say I need food. We have our welfare officer who will interview them and go and visit them and make sure that they're a genuine case.
Yeah, and there are also, for example, food banks around. So I guess that's something that potentially you could donate something to the food banks.
We do indeed.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. We'll donate funds and go and get food to give to the food banks. In fact, at Christmas we collected food and a few little toys and bits of chocolate and so on for 25 families that were struggling, that couldn't have a very good Christmas, and through Caritas we sent them to Caritas and they were distributed to these 25 families. We've done that for the last couple of years, so that's one of the things we do as well.
yeah, and I guess, I mean, Christmas is a great time to be able to distribute things, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because um, sometimes it can be difficult during the year. But at Christmas, a lot of groups come together
That's right.
that have a lot of contacts
Yeah,
within the
yeah.
community. So it's a great time for you
Mm.
guys to be able to make that kind of contribution,
That's
isn't
right.
it?
That's right. Yeah. Uh, at Entry in Fuengirola, they do a fantastic job feeding the homeless, and we actually help them to feed 80 people at Christmas that otherwise maybe not have had a hot meal. So things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, David, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Lions, and I know of the work because I come to some of your events. I mean, I haven't got the stamina that some of you guys have got. It's like, I mean, your events are legendary down here. So we're going to talk about some of
Okay.
these. So we're going to take a short break for some of our sponsors, and we'll be back with you very shortly. Welcome back. You're listening to Expat Radio. Indeed, I'm Bill Anderson. We're coming live from the Costa del Sol with my guest today, David Kay, who's president of the local Lions Club. Yeah, he's pulling. He's with me in my very plush studio today. Uh, and he's pulling his face when I said president because I've been pulling his leg about that just a little bit. Welcome back, David.
Thank you, Bill.
So we've talked a little bit about how you came here and how you got involved with the local Lions Club.
Yeah.
I guess you got a big salary for this, don't you?
Oh, thousands. No, actually, we're all the Lions are volunteers. we all give our time for. In fact, we actually pay to be members of the Lions Club. We pay a fee each year of €90, and when we first join, an extra 30 as a membership fee, and then we pay that each year. And obviously, we go along to our social events that we have every month or so, and we pay to go to those like anybody else does,
Sure.
and we buy, whatever
Raffle tickets.
raffle tickets and so on, and so we do spend quite a bit of our own money as members of the Lions, to be fair.
Sure.
But we also have a lot. I must mention, we have a lot of people who volunteer in our charity shops, who are, again, give their time up for free, 4 hours a day. Some work one day. Most people will do one day, but we do have some ladies that do more, 2 and 3 days, and they give the time up free, and they're fantastic. And as I say, 80% of our income comes from our charity shops, and we couldn't do that without these volunteers and the fantastic job they do. And also to thank the fantastic public around the Cala Lions that come and support us at our events and in our charity shops, because without their support, without the money that they spend with us, we wouldn't be able to help the people that we do.
Yeah, well, just about every time we're down in the village, Vicky will say, "I think I'll just pop in." And I say, "What are you looking for?" "Oh, I don't know, but I know if I see it, if I see it, I'll know that's what I'm looking for." But you actually have 3 shops here in La Cala now, don't you?
We do, yeah. We've got 2 on Calle Torremolinos. We have a ladies' shop where we have some fantastic clothes in there, and quite a lot of them may even be brand new, still with the labels on.
Sure.
And then next door to that, we've got what we call the men's shop, which has men's clothes, but also has books, also has DVDs, CDs, things like that. And some odds and bits like DVD players and stuff like that.
Household type goods sometimes.
And then round the corner from that, we have our little, what we call our bric-a-brac, our Euro shop, whatever people like to call it, where we have sort of more odds and ends bedding and some cheaper clothes and kiddies books and things like that. So so there's quite a wide range of goods available. We get hair straighteners in, we get electric kettles, we get TVs. It's as and when, though. We never know what's going to come in.
Sure, yeah, it's just one of these things. People just need to pop in and see if there's anything they fancy, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah.
I mean, I with my fine curls would be looking for a hair straightener.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I'm sure we could sort you out there.
But
or even a tin of polish.
A tin of polish is probably more like it, yeah, for my solar panel. But even just having these 3 shops, and you're talking about volunteers, it's still a bit of coordination and a number of people that you need to keep these places open, all 3 of them, 6 days a week, I guess.
Indeed, yeah. From 10 till 2, Monday through to Saturday. We have 10 officers within the club. Each officer is responsible for a different area. So, as I said, we've got a social secretary that deals with events. We have a welfare officer that deals with welfare cases and so on. We have a treasurer, and we have a shop manager, and the shop manager is responsible for the shops. It all feeds back to the president, but as president, I can't run 10 different departments. It's impossible.
No, of course
not. So these managers run them. They've got a lot of autonomy in those areas, and then they, with their volunteers in the shop, for example, a shop manager will have an assistant, and then we have a lion each day as a day manager, and then within that day there'll be anything from 6 to 7, 8 volunteers helping, sorting the clothes, pricing them, putting them out, selling them, and so on. So it's a big team effort between the Lions and the volunteers, and we appreciate everybody that helps in any way.
But it's not a bad business model, and I'm saying the term business model deliberately, David, because you have to run the Lions, the shops, for example, as you would run a business.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about is this whole idea of self-managing teams. You've got somebody who manages this, and as you say, you let them get on with the job, and then you step in as and when you're needed.
Yeah. I mean, most people know what they're doing. If they need help, they'll ask, "Can you help? Can you do this or that?" But most of the officers have done the job for a while. Our secretary has done the job for quite a while as well. and they've got a good knowledge of the Lions Club, how it works, and the procedures for their department, if you like, be it fundraising through
Yeah.
social side or the shop or whatever, and they basically they've got enough knowledge that they can do that and deal with that. But if they need any help, the rest of us will jump in and help where we can.
Yeah, yeah, and you also have some other support groups that are linked to the Lions or managed via the Lions, don't you?
We do indeed, yeah. We've got a diabetic support group, which was actually started in 2003 by Anne and Frank Bowles, and Anne Bowles still runs that today. And I believe it's the only diabetic support group in any Lions club in Spain, and she does a fantastic job. We do free diabetic testing, blood tests, and so on, and she travels all around the area and offers free testing. And then if needs be, obviously we have doctors we can refer them to and so on if they need that. And we also have an Alzheimer's support group which was started a few years ago by one of our ex-presidents, Maggie Bobowitz. Sadly, she's no longer with us, so now Sandy Tavendale, who is also our social secretary, runs our Alzheimer's support group.
Yeah,
And that's a new venture for us, but where we try to help carers of people suffering from Alzheimer's. They both do 2 meetings a month, alternate Mondays, usually at Bar Tutor. But there will be things posted online on Facebook and so on that
yeah,
people can look at, or if they need any information, look up the Lions Club, Cala, and give us a ring, and we can give you information on that, or pop into the shop and ask one of the Lions, and we're happy to give you information
yeah,
on that. And again, if you are looking for a Lions Club in your area, because we said there are thousands throughout the world, look online, go onto Google or a search engine, put in Lions Club in your area, and I'm sure it'll come up and you'll be able to find a club near you.
yeah. And I mean, I know, and it would be indiscreet, but I'm going to say it anyway. Anne is over 80,
Yes, yeah.
and she is
It's
incredible.
amazing the stamina she's
She
got.
has incredible stamina, and you know, I've popped my head in quite often if I'm passing Bar Tuta and she's there
Yeah,
with the support group.
yeah,
And you know, I think it's worth saying that I mean there are about 9,000 Brits alone
hmm,
who live in the Mijas municipality,
yeah, yeah,
and probably quite a high percentage of them are retired, and some long retired.
yeah, yeah,
So, you know, things like diabetes and Alzheimer's, you know, they're creeping more and more into, and I'm only just going to focus on the sort of foreigners population
yeah.
here
Sure, sure.
because, you know, people are getting on. And I think it's a fantastic initiative, David, to have this point of contact
Hmm.
because a lot of these people don't speak much Spanish.
No.
And so it could be very difficult for them to tap into, and there's not many, but whatever resources there are within the Spanish community.
Yeah, yeah. We work closely with the Alzheimer's DSG Diabetic Support Group. We work closely with Age Concern as well, who
Right.
help
Sure.
with certain things. They can help with transport to get people to hospital and so on. We work closely with the town hall for various projects that. So you know we have links with lots of associations that can help people in different ways, and we can always help to put people in contact with the right person,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
be it the Sir Optimist or Age Concern or whoever it happens to be.
Yeah. And I have to say, you're a bit like civil servants in the sense that you don't have any political bias and you will work with
No,
whoever is there
indeed.
at the time within the local authorities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we do. We have no religious, political affiliations. We work with whoever's in power, whoever's in the town hall. We work with. We help anyone within the community, be they Spanish, English, French, German, Dutch, Swedish. We don't discriminate on age, colour, gender, nationality. We have
Right.
no discrimination at all. We'll help whoever needs the help. The Lions
Yeah.
are there.
Yeah.
Our motto is we serve, and that's what we do.
Right.
Just coming back on the diabetic sport group, if I may, just give a little plug, because Anne Bowles won't forgive me if I don't. On Sunday, she's got a diabetic sport group event on at Bartuta. She's doing an Easter bonnet parade. If anyone would like to come along, the tickets are €10. You get a tapas and a drink for that. And if you want to do an Easter bonnet, you can enter the competition and you may win a prize. And there'll be some other fun and games as well. So if you'd like to come along to that, you can get tickets from the charity shop. And it's €10, and I'm sure she'd love to see you.
Well, I have to say that my wife has been working on her Easter bonnet. So if I can slip you a tenner, David.
Has she done one for you though, Bill? That's the question.
Well, I've got plenty of hats, but I haven't got any Easter bonnets.
You've just got time to get one ready.
I guess you've got yours ready, yeah?
I won last year, so I'd better not enter this year.
All right.
I better give everybody else a chance.
Yeah. You want to let the competition have a chance. Yeah.
Well, another thought for you: if you can't do a bonnet, just paint your head and pretend it's an Easter egg.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
He'll not invite me back now. So.
Not at all, David. Yeah. So I have to say, some of the Lions events are legendary. And you have these kind of small events. You've got a big event coming up in June in one of the local parks for the Platinum Jubilee.
Queen's Platinum Jubilee. It's going to be like a street party. Come along. There'll be stalls there. There'll be side stalls. There'll be tombola or what do you call them? Bric-a-brac. There'll be cake stalls. There'll be all sorts of things there. It'll be a fantastic day. It's starting around about 1:00, I believe. It'll probably go until about 7 in the evening.
It'll probably go on until everybody goes home.
There's going to be lots of entertainment there. Lots of acts are coming along to entertain and sing and do stuff. So it'll be a fantastic day. Please come along, support us, and I'm sure you'll have a wonderful time.
Yeah, I hear that there was a little sort of problem, sort of arose kind of from the background with this particular one because it's in a public park, and then you got permission to obviously to use that.
Yes.
But then the council said, yeah, but you can't charge anybody to come in.
This is true. So, we can't charge because it's a public park. So what we're doing is we're actually selling. If you remember in the wartime, a ration card from many years ago. So because it's the Queen's 70th, we're going to sell ration cards, which you can buy from our charity shop. They're only €5, and with that you'll get a piece of cake and a glass of carver. So that's how we're going to use that to raise money, but we can't actually charge entrance fee. But we'd hope everyone coming along will buy a ration card.
Can I just take you up on that though, David? You said you will remember. No, I don't remember ration cards. I'm not that old.
No, you might not. No, I don't myself actually, but some people will. Yes, and so come along, buy a ration card from our shop, and you get a glass of carver and a piece of cake, and you can toast the Queen and have a lovely afternoon out.
I think it's going to be good fun, and there's an option of 50s and 60s fancy dress.
Fancy dress.
Yeah, well, I'll just wear what's in my wardrobe because I'm not exactly sort of height of fashion, me, you know.
No, you're not. Oh, right. You're not up with the trends.
Nah. I left my platform shoes way behind.
Yeah, in your rock and roll days.
Indeed, yeah. So that's going to be great fun. But also, we came to the last President's Gala dinner. That was an event, isn't it?
That takes place in September usually, when we have a new president elected in July. In August, the Lions do nothing because it's just too hot here in Spain. So we still do our charity work behind the scenes, but we don't have any meetings or anything in August. And then again, we start up in September, and that's when we have the president's inauguration meal, if you like to call it.
Right.
In June, we will be having our charter night event. That's another one of our big events where we we celebrate being a Lion, and we talk about what it is to be a Lion and what we've achieved throughout the coming year. And
Right.
it's more or less the outgoing president's final event, if you like. It's a fabulous event. We usually go to a lovely restaurant, have a lovely meal. It usually costs around somewhere between 35-40 euros. We have a raffle, and of course, people can come along, and we usually have entertainment, and it's usually a brilliant night.
Yeah,
But it is more to celebrate what
but
being a Lion is.
these are real sort of gala do's, aren't
Yeah,
they? People
indeed.
do scrub up
That's
and
right.
get their
Yeah,
good kit out and
put your party frock on and your dinner jacket and your dicky bow, and yeah, come and have a
yeah.
lovely time.
I don't know if you found this, David. I mean, when I worked in the UK, I wore a suit every day, you know. And then I was over here for a number of years and realized I hadn't done things that required a suit.
Yeah,
So my suits were still hanging in mothballs for a long time, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I guess it must be pretty much the same for you that life is so kind of casual down
Well,
here.
that's right. It's shorts and short sleeve shirts, or casual clothes most of the time. But we do have a couple of formal dues, about 3 or 4 a year,
Yeah.
where you can get dressed up and enjoy yourself in a atmosphere
Well,
where it's a bit more
listen, I've got a confession.
okay.
Are you
Yeah,
ready for this?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it was the charter night. I came in my gala kilt outfit.
Yes, you're very smart. You look too.
Yeah, well, what nobody knew was that about towards the end of the evening, I realised that the sole had come off my shoe. So I had to just stick it in the wife's bag
All right. Okay.
and walk about with
Barefoot.
half a sole.
Oh well, there you go. You see, an adventure. There you go. You never know what's going to happen at these dues.
Indeed, indeed. So, you have your charter night in June, and
Yes.
the president's dinner will be in September.
Yeah.
Are
We
these dates set for all of the Lions Club, sort of all over the world, or do you set these dates more or less yourselves?
they tend to be those two tend to be round about that because the charter was original charter was given in June, so that's why that tends to be somewhere around the June time.
Okay, right.
And September's usually the presidents because, as I say, they get elected in July. And I'm not sure about other countries because we close down in August, as I say, as regards meetings because of the heat. Now, obviously, in the UK, it's not so hot. They may carry on in August. They may have theirs in August. I
Yeah,
don't know on that. But then we have other events. We have a spring fair and fashion show, which I think will probably be May this year. We have a Christmas party. Again, an excuse for getting dressed up and having a lovely meal, and
yeah,
we usually have an autumn fair as well. So they're the five big events throughout the year, and then
right.
we have usually a social event, a smaller event that happens every month to 2 months, depending. And again, these are all advertised online. You can see them on Facebook and so on. So, and tickets are available in the charity shop for people to come along to those,
Yeah.
and they're really good fun. And we this year we were lucky enough. John Sharples, which most people in the Cala will know John Sharples, if not everyone. He's a fantastic entertainer, and he's supported the Lions here and in other countries for many years. And he's been such a great supporter that this year we were pleased to make him an honorary member of the Lions
Oh,
Club.
nice.
He's our first honorary member. And he does a lot at a lot of our events. He comes along and MCs, and he's such great fun. So you'll often see him at one of our events.
John is certainly a character. I think that's probably the best description,
Yeah,
isn't it?
he's great fun, great fun. Anybody that's not met him, there can't be many. You
Yeah.
must come along and see him.
John actually came on my radio show. It must be about a year ago,
Yeah,
and we certainly had good fun.
he's very funny.
Yeah, I mean, for people obviously in other countries who don't know him, you may know Coronation Street, and John's
Grandad,
granddad was
Stan Ogden.
Stan Ogden. So he comes from a family
Yeah,
in
that's
the sort
right.
of arts, you know, and John is certainly a great
Yeah, yeah.
character.
Well, he was a blue coat, I believe, at Pontins for many years when he
Yeah,
was younger, and then he's entertained throughout. the Canaries and
He
Spain for
also has a drag
a long
act
time. Is it? Yeah,
that's kicked back
drag
in again now after all
dragtastic.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and very funny they are too. Very well worth going to see if you've not seen them. Yeah,
So, David, this last 2 years, I mean, you kind of highlighted it. Certainly in 2020, things had to close down,
yeah.
and we're I don't think we've had quite as bad restrictions here in Spain as they've had in some countries, but it must have taken a little while to get things back and running again, and people getting used to just coming in and out of shops and things. How has that gone for you?
Yeah, indeed. It's been a slow process because obviously we had to close during the pandemic when lots of businesses closed. We had to close as well. And then when we were allowed to open up, we could do a few days and then build it up. We had to have hand sanitizer outside. We had to wear masks, obviously,
Mm,
and for a while gloves. We had to stop taking donations in for quite a while as well because we couldn't work with them when lockdown was on and just after that. And then we started to slowly take donations back, but keeping them in our storeroom for a week before we actually
put them out.
put them out,
Yeah,
and so we could be sure there was no contamination on them. And slowly we're building back up. It's still not back 100% to where it was, but
right.
we're getting there. And I mean, I think this year so far we've pledged around €52,000 to help various organisations and people around the area. We sort of go from Cala to we do go as far as Alarin, El Grande and De Toro because we help Encina La up there. But
Okay.
most of it is around La Cala or the La Cala area where we help people and we've got another probably I don't know possibly another 30,000 by the end of the year that we may have be giving away to help various organisational people. So, but by the end of my year in end of June, we'll probably have given away around about 80,000 to help local charities, organisations, and individuals. Um, it's difficult because these people need help, and there are others, us and other organisations trying to give it, and we have to make sure it goes to the right
Yeah,
people.
but in these times where economically a lot of people are struggling, that's a significant amount of money
Yeah,
to be able to distribute
yeah, yeah.
amongst, and I say I'll call them again good causes
Mm-hmm.
rather than saying to charities or to
Yeah,
this or to
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
And how does that compare with what would have been a typical year, do you think, before all of this?
We're probably getting back there now. I would think we're probably back to because we've managed to raise money through the shop and through the events. I don't think we'll be far off. Probably, what we'd do on a normal year.
Right,
During the last couple of years, it's been a lot lower. So we were probably 40,000 or something. About half.
right.
I think by the end of this year, we'll probably be about where we normally are. So
Wonderful.
I'm pleased to say.
David, our time has just about gone. Dave is giving me a countdown.
Okay, that's
Um,
fine.
well, but first of all, can I just say I know a lot of your members, and I really appreciate that your volunteers, your Lions members, and you guys do a fantastic job and support some great causes
Thank you.
down here. And can I just say to you, thank you so much for joining me today, David. It's
No,
been really good to have this conversation because usually it's kind of a quick chat in the street or a quick
yeah.
chat at some event. It's been really good to chat to you
Thank
today,
you for
David.
inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
And well, I don't know if you're a big celebrator of Easter. But I think it's kind of just about the time to wish people a happy Easter.
Indeed,
Yes.
yeah. Happy Easter to everyone out there. Please come along to any of our events you see advertised. Support the Lions because we're supporting a lot of local people that need help.
Right, and I shall work on my Easter bonnet
Yes,
for Sunday.
indeed, indeed. I shall look forward to seeing it.
I think I might just paint it on and not tattoo it on. That might be just a
Yeah,
bit too much, yeah.
yeah. Watercolor paint. You can wash it off then.
Okay, David, thank you so much. And thanks to everyone who's joined us today. But a lot of people from a lot of countries listening in. I hope you found this interesting and informative. I know I know a lot about the Lions, but I've learned a lot of new things today as
Good.
well. And if you're interested, go to Google and see if there's a local Lions group in your area. In 210 countries, the chances are that there's a local group there. And if you have time and energy to give, please do that. Everyone, have a very happy Easter, and I'll be back next Friday at 1 o'clock. Take care.